Review of the 2013 season with Red Bull, and Red Bull began the season as reigning Drivers and Constructors champions, but they were not the dominant car at the start of the year, and they had trouble with their tyres and the new Pirelli tyres, and then of course came the time when Pirelli went back to the 2012 tyre compounds, and of course in the second half of the year this car went back to being the dominant car that it was in 2011 and the end of 2012, with Sebastian Vettel going on to achieve 9 successive Grand Prix victories in a row, and he won 13 races to equal Michael Schumacher's 2004 record of wins in a single season. And Red Bull won the Constructors' Championship. Sebastian Vettel won the Drivers' Championship at the Indian Grand Prix, and for 2014 Vettel is joined by a new Australian. Daniel Ricciardo is joining Vettel from Toro Rosso, and because Mark Webber has retired, so one Australian out and another in. And that is a brief on Red Bull's championship year. Our review of the year continues with Ferrari. Now Ferrari started off the year with quick contesting, and Fernando Alonso won 2 of the first 5 races. The first of those victories came right here in Shanghai, and Alonso was on the podium 8 times. Ferrari finished the year in 3rd in the Constructors' Championship behind Red Bull, who were the champions, and Mercedes, who just pipped them to 2nd in the last race in Brazil. And as I said, Ferrari started off with a quick car, but the qualifying over 1 lap pace, the Ferrari was a little bit behind, but the Ferrari always has been a better race car than qualifying, and this was proved in both of Alonso's wins. For China he qualified 3rd and won, and for Spain he qualified 5th and won. And what hurt Ferrari was the changing back to the 2012 tyres, because when Ferrari were on the 2013 spec tyres, the car seemed to be more competitive. But in the second half of the period, second half of the year, Ferrari didn't win any races, and they were in the latter half of the top 10, but Alonso constantly having to fight his way up the positions after difficult qualifying. And so that pretty much sums up Ferrari's year. Next year, Alonso is joined by Kimi Raikkonen, who's come back to Ferrari, and Kimi Raikkonen won the driver's title for them in 2007, so by the time Raikkonen joins, it will be 7 years since Ferrari won a driver's championship, and I'm sure that's one fact that they'll be hoping that they're going to put right in 2014 with the new cars and new engine and new everything else, and Ferrari will be looking to bounce back from an average 2013 to winning ways in 2014. McLaren ended 2012 with the fastest car, and for 2013 they did like Ferrari did in 2012 by going for this pull rod suspension, but it took them the majority of the year to understand their car, and neither Button nor Sergio Perez, their race drivers, neither of them scored any podiums, neither of them scored any wins, and McLaren finished out of the top four for many years. So, and of course we had the situation where Lewis Hamilton had just left and gone to Mercedes, who had a quick car this year, but back to McLaren, and McLaren's driver pairing for 2014 is Jenson Button stays on again. He's been there since 2010, and joining Jenson Button is Kevin Magnussen, who many people were tipping to be in the car for 2013, but Perez ended up getting the drive. But up next to Lotus, and Lotus finished fourth in the Constructors' World Championships, behind Red Bull, who won, Mercedes, who was second, and Ferrari, who was third. And they scored one victory in the 2013 campaign, which was here in Australia, and Kimi Räikkönen won, and that was his only win of the year, although Lotus did come close to winning several races. In Japan, for instance, Romain Grosjean came close to winning his first Grand Prix, and Lotus has generally looked after its tyres much better over the course of the season, and this is what, and the Lotus was also good at this in 2012 as well, where the team finished mid-table that year. But 2014 sees Romain Grosjean now the lead driver, now that Kimi Räikkönen has gone off to Ferrari, and of course he's been joined by Pastor Maldonado from Williams, with Felipe Massa replacing him. And then of course the talking point of the year, as far as Lotus goes, was or towards the end of the year at least, the lack of funding coming to the team, which meant that Kimi Räikkönen wasn't being paid to race, and yet despite this, Lotus had a good season with a quick car, so it wasn't totally terrible. And yet, even though we had all this turmoil going on in the background about the team staying afloat with funding coming in, but none of this got in the way of the on-track action. So Lotus will be hoping to, with their new driver pairing, to get to improve and be more of a contender for the World Championships next year in 2014. Our review of the top teams with Mercedes. Mercedes had a quick car in qualifying. Mercedes were constantly, they started on pole position numerous occasions with either Hamilton or Rosberg, but they used to drop back a bit in the race because they had tyre degradation problems during the race, which made them drop back in their placings. But their first win of the year was Nico Rosberg in Monaco, which he equalled his dad's triumph in 1983, and then the next win was here at Silverstone, also in Nico Rosberg's hands. And then of course Hamilton won in Hungary, so Mercedes had 3 wins and quite a few podium places, and over the course of the year were the biggest challenge in qualifying to Red Bull. Mercedes finished 2013 in second place, 6 points ahead of Ferrari, and this was all decided at the last race in Brazil. For 2014, the driver lineup, Hamilton again with Nico Rosberg. It proved to be quite a closely run driver pairing in 2013, so if Mercedes can find a car which doesn't wear out its tyres as quickly, then they could be a title contender in 2014.